All right, in this briefing, we're going to tackle a problem that, let's be honest, every single business owner knows all too well, the constant crushing pressure of a crowded marketplace. We are going to unpack a really powerful strategy for creating your very own uncontested market space. Let's get right into it. Does this feel a little too familiar? You're constantly fighting for every scrap of market share. You're battling on price, watching your margins just get thinner and thinner. It is a tough place to be. It feels like you're all just swimming in the same bloody water, fighting over the same scraps.
And yeah, there's actually a name for this. Strategists call it a red ocean. It's the market space we all know, where all the boundaries are set, the rules are defined, and everyone knows how to play the game. The blue ocean, on the other hand, well, that's all about creating brand new, uncontested market space. It's about making the competition completely irrelevant. You stop fighting over a shrinking pool of profit, and you just create a new one.
So, the big question is, how do you get there? Well, here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about what it really means to escape that red ocean. Then, we'll dive into the 6 paths framework. Think of it as your map. We'll break down the paths in pairs, and finally, we'll talk about how to actually make your move. Okay, so the heart of this whole strategy is something called the 6 paths framework. Now, this isn't about guesswork or hoping for a lucky break. No, this is a reliable, structured map that helps you systematically look at your market in a completely new way, guiding you toward that clear, blue water. Think of these 6 paths as a set of challenges, really. They are designed to force you to look beyond what everyone else in your industry is doing, to look across different industries, different customer groups, the entire buyer chain, what you offer, how it feels, and even across time itself.
All right, let's kick things off with the first 2 paths. This is all about totally redefining the very playground your business competes on. It means you got to start looking way outside your industry's normal, conventional boundaries. So, Path 1 starts with a really powerful question. What job are your customers actually hiring your product to do? For example, in agricultural tech, a farmer isn't just buying a sensor. What are their alternatives? Well, they could hire more people for manual labor, or they could buy crop insurance. See? They're choosing between completely different industries to solve the exact same core problem of managing risk.
And this, right here, this is the aha moment. This is the strategic shift. You stop competing on tech specs and features, and you start competing on a totally different value proposition. You're not just a tech vendor anymore. You're a service that replaces unreliable labor and helps manage financial risk. It's a whole new conversation. Okay, so let's build on that with path number 2. Inside pretty much any industry, you've got these strategic groups. Think of the tiers, the cheap budget options versus the super premium luxury ones, or the DIY solutions versus the massive enterprise systems. The blue ocean, it's often found in that huge underserved space right in between those tiers. And I love this metaphor, the IKEA of smart farming. It's perfect, right? The big opportunity isn't to be a little cheaper than the high-end guys or a little better than the DIY kits. No. It's to create a whole new category that gives you the best of both, the simplicity and cost of DIY with the power and reliability of an industrial system. This move pulls in a massive group of people who were never your customers before. Okay, next up we have paths 3 and 4. So we've looked outside our industry. Now it's time to look inward and completely rebuild what we're offering, and maybe even who we're offering it to. It's so easy to get laser-focused on the person who uses our product, but think about it. In almost every sale, there's a whole chain of people involved. You've got the end user, sure, but you also have the person who actually pays the bills, the purchaser, and then you have the influencers who have a say in the decision. A huge blue ocean move can come from just shifting your focus from one link in that chain to another. And this is where it gets really interesting. The person on the ground, the farmhand, they might be resistant to new tech. But the owner of the business, who might be miles away in an office, they have a completely different set of problems. They want control, they want visibility, they want profitability forecasts. By solving their problem, you unlock a totally new level of value and a much higher willingness to pay. All right, path number 4 is all about thinking bigger. It's about creating the total solution. See, most products, they just solve one little piece of a problem, but the customer's journey is full of other challenges. What do they have to do before you use your product? What headaches do they have after? The blue ocean is found in solving that whole entire problem from start to finish. And that right there is a huge leap in value. You're no longer just dropping off data and saying, hey, good luck with that. You're bundling the hardware with AI-powered advice, with automated actions, maybe even with connections to a marketplace. You become this indispensable part of their ecosystem, making it almost impossible for a competitor with just a simple product to keep up.
Okay, we're on to our final pair of paths, 5 and 6, and these are all about changing the very feel, the very appeal of your industry. This is where you can fundamentally change how customers think and feel about what you do. Think about it. Almost every industry competes on one of two things, either cold, hard function and price, or pure emotion and feeling. The biggest strategic move here is to just swim against the current. If your entire industry is all about function, inject some real emotion. And if it's all about feeling and branding, add a strong dose of practical utility.
Just look at this comparison here. The functional stuff, yeah, it's what you'd expect. Higher yield, save time, the usual. But the emotional appeal, wow, that's about identity. You're not just a farmer anymore, you're an agritech founder. You're not just growing crops, you're a pioneer contributing to sustainability. That creates a powerful, powerful connection that goes way beyond any spreadsheet.
And that brings us to our final path, number 6, which is all about looking into the future. What are the major trends happening right now that are absolutely undeniable, irreversible, and are going to reshape your industry? We're talking about things like climate change, new government regulations, big social shifts like ESG investing. The key is to build a business that rides that wave instead of getting crushed by it.
I mean, this is how you literally future-proof your business. You're not just selling a productivity tool anymore. You're selling a strategic necessity. Your service becomes the key that unlocks green financing for your customers, helps them meet new government rules, and lets them prove their sustainability to the world. You've become essential. Okay, so we've walked through these 6 powerful ways of thinking. They really open up new possibilities. But how do you actually do it? How do you turn all this great insight into real-world action? Well, the first practical step is a tool called the Eliminate, Reduce, Raise, Create grid. You might see it called the ERRC grid for short. It is a simple but incredibly powerful tool for taking all the messy, complex factors of your industry and reshaping them into something new, streamlined, and valuable. It's actually super simple but really profound. You just ask 4 questions about your industry. First, what factors that everyone just takes for granted should we completely eliminate? Like, say, complex wiring and installations. Second, what factors should we reduce way, way below the industry standard, like the dependency on manual labor? Third, what factors should we raise well above the standard, like our focus on the business outcomes for owners? And finally, the fun one, what brand new factors can we create that the industry has never ever offered before, like an AI-driven digital agronomist? This grid right here, this is your blueprint.
So when you put these paths and this framework together, you have a real systematic way to move out of that bloody red ocean. The question really isn't if a blue ocean exists for your business, it's where are you going to choose to create it.